welcome to episode 28 of Scribbles with Jonathan. I'm your host, Jonathan Rector. You guys can check out my work at jonathanrector.com. And this is part 3 of taking our gestures that we've been working on and trying to tighten them up and going from there. So just a quick recap. Here is the pose that we're going to be working on. We may have time to go into the second pose. I doubt it. That may be in the next video. But I'm trying to have the camera up a little bit closer here so you guys can see the lines that I'm going in here, and it may be I may be moving around a little bit, but we'll try to get to it. So what I usually like to do is, now that I have my gesture done, all the energy that I need, again, trying to keep that energy going, but tightening things up. And usually I like to start with the head a little bit, and what I'll do is, I keep this kneadable eraser on me quite a bit, just to lighten things up, because you don't want to get it too muddy. And I'll go in here and I'll start to, start throwing in the anatomy of the head. Again, just keeping it pretty simple. Some people, they don't do this step too much. I just find sometimes when especially drawing heads, I get a little lost in what's going on sometimes. So trying to keep that, just establishing where my eyes would be, where I'll put the nose, the face, and the neck, really. And as I've been watching this, I've noticed that I have this arm coming across, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change it and bring it out a little bit more, just to give it like he's got that little extra energy in there. But then again, all I'm going to do is, foreshortening works wonders, so I don't have to redraw the entire arm. But all I'm going to do is, I usually like to start with whatever's in the closest here. So we're going to have a hand, which is going to be in a fist, so I'll just block in where I'm going to put the fingers in on the actual hand. We're going to have the thumb sticking out, how it's going to actually lock into the wrist, so we've got a full hand here. And usually I'll just keep like a thin line going to where our elbow is going to be, any kind of joints, and then when I have it this way, I can build my anatomy over top of it. So we'll give him a nice big forearm here. I'm a pretty big fan of pretty beefy forearms on the characters. Just gives it a little extra sense of power. So we're going to have that, and then, we're going to start working in on the bicep. It's going to be pretty small, considering where it is on the body. And his shoulder. I like to make my shoulders pretty chunky. Kind of thinking of them like, here, I guess I could draw it on the side real quick. And I've done this before in some of the other videos. Basically thinking of the shoulder in groups like that. So if it was, rounding around, got a bicep down here and a forearm. But, just kind of thinking of it in chunks like that. For me, anyway, it works pretty well. Again, these are style choices. And from the shoulder, I can wrap in where my lats are going to be. Pretty thick muscles on there. And the most important part of the arm, which is the tricep. And I could go here and I could add like a really beastly tricep to this guy. But we'll try to tone it down. In a straight arm, the tricep's the one that it should be a little bit bigger than your bicep. But usually how I like to work is I'll throw in all the muscles in the arm or that I think are in there, just throw in some lines, and then I'll pick and choose which ones I actually like. The pec's going to actually wrap around here. And we're going to flare the pec out a little bit. And there's a big error that I have in here, and I know right now, here, let me just pull it out a little bit so you can see what's going on. There's shapes in here that aren't really working. And this was a flaw basically in the beginning stage that I didn't really work out. If you can see what's going on here, there's supposed to be an arm back here, but if I have a pec here, like a shoulder has to be somewhere around there. So that arm's not going to really work the way it is. So I might have to, we'll adjust that when we get to it. And right here we have the chest. It's going to be sticking out a bit. And, this is something I know a lot of people really do. You give these characters like a really thin waist, and it really accentuates the size, especially of their chest. So all we're doing is just redrawing over, have an idea of where our abs are going to be. And this arm in the background is really bugging me, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to fix it right now. So if he's lunging across like this, naturally we're going to come across a problem when we're recording. That's all good. And again, one thing I will recommend doing is in like a situation like this where I'm clearly lost, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that arm. Don't stop your pencil. Just move on to another area. That arm's not going to fix itself, so we're definitely going to have to come back and fix it. So instead of spending a phenomenal amount of time worrying about that, just keep working on the rest of your image until it starts coming out. And usually sometimes with long muscles like this, I'll just do some shapes, some round shapes, just to get an idea. Gotta have his butt in there. A lot of people, they'll just go like a straight line to make it nice and smooth. Again, a style choice. I like to have it stick out because, everybody does have a butt there. And again, I apologize if you guys find the camera moving too much. It's just it doesn't record at a pretty high resolution, so I'm just trying to get a little up close so you guys can see some better line work. And right here, I usually like to add like a little extra meat in there. I can't forget that this is all supposed to be rounded out. And actually, I do this sometimes a lot as well, and I don't want you guys to feel like you're locked into anything, especially at our previous stage. But here, there's still room to move around, right? And the reason I'm erasing this leg is I think it would actually serve a little bit better if it was up more, and it just made him look a little bit more, more of an extreme and powerful pose. And that took no time at all just to adjust. And now that we have it, we know where our knee is supposed to be here, and I can start adding in my muscles. And again, this is a style thing. Once I erase this with my kneadable eraser again, and I'll use a pen so you guys can see the darker lines that I'm going to choose. By adding all these lines in here, it gives me more options to choose, which lines I like the most and which ones I want to keep. So if I just zoom out a little bit, he's pretty much done. All the anatomy's in there. This leg is pretty long, just to help give the flow. And I know there's some people worry about doing like 8 heads high or 10 heads tall and really beastie character. But I don't really care too much, as long as to me it looks okay. It may be a little long, but it just adds a little extra action to it. So now basically all I'm left with is figuring out the problem of the arm. So if we're going to have his chest here, I could put his arm down here, and what I'm forcing myself doing now is instead of trying to come up with a way to fix this, I'm even resulting to thinking maybe if I added a gun in his hand, he wouldn't have to act like he's punching, and then I'm sacrificing the pose. But I think due to time, I think I'm going to try that. So I'm roughly going to rough in, this guy holding a gun. Make it a cool rifle type thing. And obviously if he's shooting, you're going to have like a huge explosion coming out of it, and we'll put some rounds coming around like this guy's been firing for a while. And by having his arm out there, I could get away with doing something wild with his arm. So we'll put a shoulder up here, insinuate a bicep there, and then we'll just throw in a forearm. And his hand will be something like that. And it looks like I got a little bit of a minute left, so I'm just going to go in here and just start working on a little bit more of the anatomy of the face. Again, working triangles where the nose would be. Usually, lately, I've been liking just doing these circle shapes for the actual eye socket. And the mouth will be here somewhere. I know right now it looks like he's smiling. That's going to be changed. We'll make him screaming for sure. But just so I know the anatomy and the bones and, I like to take a lot of the guesswork out, so once I actually go in here with a nice refined line, less things are left up to the imagination. I'm just redrawing over some of the anatomy here, these lines that I definitely want to carry through. So it's basically the character right there. Let me see if I can just zoom in real close here so you guys can see where we went, just by adding a little bit of anatomy over top of things. that's about it. So thank you so much for watching. The next video we'll do, it'll just be of the female, and then we can go from further from there. So thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next one. Take care.